Hello and welcome to Spacious Planning. Yep, after a very long break, about a year, I'm back and today I'm looking at BusyB planners. So this channel doing videos about planners is purely a hobby for me, so it's not the place for like weekly, spectacularly kind of prepped and polished videos, but we are getting into planner release season. I'm choosing my 2026 planners, so there will be hopefully a few other videos on the channel coming in the next few weeks or months. But yeah, today it's all about BusyB. BusyB is a British planner company. I think that might be the first time I've done this on this channel. They're headquartered in Scotland and they make loads of planners. First of all, being British, they're called diaries, so just some terminology difference there. They make a huge range of diaries, notebooks, accessories, like speciality organisers like wedding planners and things like that. I've got 3 to look at today. I picked these 3 frankly because they're interesting layouts. BusyB do much more normal layouts as well, much more kind of common layouts, but I wanted to try out a bunch of ones that I found interesting and see if any of them would work for me in 2026. So yeah, fascinating layouts, and they're very, very affordably priced, especially if you're used to American planners and the kind of premium planner market. These are totally different price point, totally different product really. When it comes to if you want to actually buy these, BusyB's own website will only ship to the UK and Channel Islands, but they are on Amazon, so that might be a way around if you want to get hold of them. I'm going to go through all 3 of the planners, talk through the layouts and features, talk about how I would use them, and I will do pen tests in each because I've managed to get 3 planners with 3 different paperweights. So that's going to be interesting. So let's make a start with, this is the Slim diary is what it's called. It's £10.99, which is approximately $15. It's about 17 centimetres high by 8.5 centimetres across. Weighs approximately 146 grams according to their website, and brace yourself, the paperweight is 60 GSM. Now remember, GSM and pounds are not the same. It's not always possible to do an exact conversion. As I understand it, different companies can calculate in different ways, but from what I've looked up online, 60 GSM would be approximately £40 paper. So this is not your premium American planner £80 paper, do keep that in mind. I will do a pen test in it as we go along. It's hardback. Frankly, no, it doesn't want to lay flat at all. It's got a lot of pages in a small book, but you can train it. So I'm horrible to my planners, they are for using. If you bend it back a bit, it will then lay flat. It comes with an elastic band to close it, an elastic pen holder, and a nice matching ribbon that's a good length. So let's get into it. Just checking we're still aligned. You've got a nice colour inside. I should mention the covers on this, there are a few other colour and pattern options. There are loads and loads of options on their website. You get a sort of introductory page with just a nice little message, and then you're straight into a place where you can put your personal details and useful information. Yearly overviews for 2026 and 2027. And then you are straight into your weeks. So this diary doesn't have any monthly spreads. You'll see why as we go through it. So it's a week on 2 page. I'm going to turn a little bit into it. It's a week on 2 page. Monday to Wednesday down the left, Thursday to Sunday down the right. The weekends share a space, but as you can see, every single week has an extra lined notes page in the middle. It's slightly shorter than the main planner, so it kind of nestles into the week, which I quite like. So yeah, that's your weekly layout. I love this. I've not really seen this before. It's a very clever way of doing a very compact planner, but actually providing quite a good amount of space in it. So you could simply extend your days and have, you know, a reasonable chunk of space. If the whole thing is 8.5 centimeters across, that's probably about 8 centimeters of space across, which is not bad at all. Or you could have, you know, your appointments in the day slots and then write, say, to-do lists and so on down the middle paper. But yeah, I really like this. I think it's a really clever way of maximizing space in a very compact planner. You simply run through all the weeks like that. And as I say, no monthly spreads, no tabs or dividers or anything, just straight through your weeks until the end, when you get to a few contacts pages, quite a few contacts pages, which is a slightly unfortunate choice, I think, because I don't know how many people write contacts into their planners anymore, and it would have been much more useful to have just a few extra notes pages at the back, I think, rather than having contacts pages. But that's what you've got. You've got a sort of cover page there and then the end of the planner. So it's a very simple planner, but just a slightly different layout, which I think is super cool. So last thing to do on this one is a quick pen test before I move on to the next one. So remember, 60 GSM, approximately £40. I'll use one of the middle notes pages. So I'm going to use, really, Dax? No, 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 no. Yes, cat visits are part of my very professional setup. So I'm using a Uniball eye, which is relatively inky, a basic biro. This is an Erin Condren fine liner. Then I've got a mild liner highlighter. So let's do a relatively light run with that side of it, and let's do a really, really pressing on run with that side of it. To really, really stress test it, I've got an Erin Condren brush pen that I got a couple of years ago. So that is extremely inky. I haven't pen tested in advance, so you're seeing this as I am. Hey, that's not bad. Obviously there's ghosting. I don't know how well this is showing up on camera. So yeah, there's ghosting, of course. It's 60 GSM, roughly £40 paper. But there's no bleed through. There's no bleeding even from the brush pen. I mean, the brush pen definitely ghosts, but that's honestly, I thought it was going to be worse. I would have bet money on the brush pen bleeding through. So that's fun. It also, I mean, I know I wrote that the Uniball is the pen I'm likely to be using. Okay, so if you do it right after you've written it smudges, but that was only like half a minute ago and it's not smudging. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that paper. I know anyone who's kind of into planners and buys premium planners is going to be like £40 paper. No, 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 no. Remember that it's £10.99 and remember that they're fitting in a lot of pages. You've got a week on 2 pages with an extra page in every week. So if they used really thick paper, you know, even if they upped the budget and, you know, made it a more expensive planner with more premium paper, you'd end up with a very chunky book. And the whole point of this thing is it's a lovely, slim, portable book. I'm really, really happy with that. I really expected it to fail the pen test. Okay, that's quite funny. I really thought it was going to bleed through at least a little bit. So yeah, I'm chuffed with that. I will get that one out of the way for now. I'm gonna talk at the end about how I'm going to use them. I just want to sort of show you the facts of them first. And the next one I will do is the next size up, and also the next, no, sorry, this is the highest paperweight one. So this is the Busy Life planner. As you can see, lots of similarities in the range. So it's a hardcover again. You've got your elastic, your pen loop, your ribbon bookmark, very similar. Most of their planners are these hardback formats. They do have a few wire ones though, so there is some variety there if you want to check it out. This one, and again they do different cover designs and so on. I really liked the colours and the kind of hummingbird design. This one is $13.99. It is about just under 14 centimetres across and 19 centimetres high. Let's just put it alongside the Slim. Weighs about 245 grams, and this is 100 GSM paper, which is between 65 and 70 pound paper. So this is a much thicker paper. Again, you've got a little bit of colour on your inside cover. You've got your same kind of quote on that cover page, same personal details and information, bigger yearly overviews, but still 26-27. This one has monthly spreads. They're all up front instead of being spread through the diary. And I quite like the way they've oriented them. So in order to fit them onto one page, I guess, you have to turn it around this way. I quite like that. I think with my handwriting, I'm not going to fit a lot in those boxes. I might use it for a tracker or something rather than for writing much. But yeah, I like that. It's the weeks start on Monday, the weekends are highlighted. You've got the week numbers, which I quite like having. There are no holidays on your monthly spread in the Busy Life diary. So you have all 12 of those, and then you have, so first off you have a lined notes page, and then this which is, it's like a divider page leading into your weekly spreads. It's got a pocket on it. It's ordinary paper, the same as the rest of the planner, and the pocket is just cardboard. And they've done this at quarterly intervals through the diary. Not totally sold on it. I love this diary, incidentally. This is the one I'm definitely 100% going to use. But this, I'm not sure what the purpose of it is. The pocket, I don't know if you could put much in there really. I don't know if they're kind of offering it as a sort of divider, but one of the unfortunate effects of it is it kind of creates a slight bump. So I think what I'm going to do is, as soon as I'm not videoing, I'm going to try and remove this and yeah, see if I can remove it without tearing the paper. I think it should be doable. It feels, let's do lots of experiments on camera today. Yeah, so it does come away without tearing the paper, but it does leave a mark. I'll do that, and I'll put some washi tape or something to cover up. But slightly weird pockets notwithstanding, I love this diary. This is the reason I'm doing a BusyB order, to be honest. I was browsing their site, I saw this layout and was like, I have to have this. I have to try this company. So you've got note space, your week again, more note space. This is all 1 week, mirrored. I love this. My brain just absolutely loves this. There's something about the idea of having like 2 streams of information visible simultaneously. It just clicks for me. Absolutely adore it. So you do have your holidays in your weeks. You didn't in the month, but they're in the weeks. Monday start on the week. You've got mini calendars. I could do without the mini calendars, just give me more note space. But yeah, I love this layout. Absolutely love it. I'm going to turn to one with slightly fewer holidays. So here we go, page with no holidays. Oh, in terms of laying flat, it almost does. I didn't bend this one or attack it the way I did the Slim one, and it is staying open even at the end there. So this is, yeah, it lays flat a bit better, I guess, because it's just a bit bigger and a bit thicker paper. Yeah, I mean, I love this layout so much. So you go through your weeks. As I mentioned, at the end of every quarter, you've got this notes page and pocket situation going on. And it does, I don't know if I probably can't show you the bump, but if you, I mean, you have to press quite hard, but if you like press where the edge of the pocket is, there definitely is a little bit of a bump there. You can kind of see how it divides the pages. And then at the end, once again, you have some contacts pages, but you do also get some lined notes pages in this one, which I appreciate. So we should do a pen test, and this one should come out a lot better because it's between 65 and 70 pound 100 GSM paper. So there's my Unipol. I'm guessing, yes, smudges if I do it immediately. It's not super smooth paper or anything, but it's not toothy. There's not really any texture to it, so it is going to need a few seconds to dry. Let's do gentle highlight and press on really hard. Fine liner, and then a brush. And let's see how that's looking. I mean, obviously no bleed through at all. And okay, I'm going to say faint ghosting, but really faint, to be honest. With the brush, you might notice it. With everything else, I think you have to be looking for that to notice it. So it definitely is thicker paper. And I mean, I can't really show this on camera, but the feel of this paper is definitely more premium than the paper in the Slim diary. Okay, last one to show, and then I will talk about how I'm using them. Let me just pop this back to a weekly page. I'll walk this in a second. Yeah, I love this cover, and I love finding fun layouts. Now then, this last one is a bit of a strange choice for me because this is a family planner. So, as with all the others, you have hardback, you have your elastic, your pen loop, your ribbon, all great. Again, they've got a couple of cover designs for this. This one it's $14.99, so it's the most expensive. It's like, I don't know what the exchange rate is at the moment. I think it would still be less than $20. So yes, this is like the top end of their range. It's incredible. It is 15 centimeters wide by 21 centimeters high. I think it's basically an A5 size. So this one, interestingly, the Busy Life one, is slightly smaller than A5. I think this one is basically A5. It's 317 grams, and the paper, it's the middle paper weight, it's 80 GSM, which is about 55 pound paper. You have a pattern inside your cover for this one, and then you have a few pages up front that really show it's a family planner. So you've got your details, your partner's details, space for 4 children, and then 2 pages for kind of family info, so like contact details for doctors and the nursery and so on, and then just a spare page, I guess, to carry that over if you need more space. Planning space for birthdays, which again, usually I don't love this in planners. I think in a family planner it makes sense. It's, you know, this is where you would remind yourself you need to send cards to your aunts and your uncles and your cousins and whoever you're including. Yearly overview, 26 and 27, like with the others. A different monthly spread. So again, the months are all up front. They're not distributed throughout it. And they've got 2 months per page. So even though this is A5, so it's a bit bigger than the Busy Life, it's, you know, it's not a massive page, and they're getting 2 months on it. So I would probably just use this again for reminders or trackers, not for trying to fit lots of appointments onto. You've got through those line notes page, pocket page. They only do the pockets at the beginning and end in this one, not quarterly, so you don't get as many pockets, but you do still get a pocket. And then you've got the main spread again, so your holidays are on your main spread, not on your monthlies. I will just go to one without holidays, so it's a bit plainer. And this is your layout, and the idea with the family planner is you kind of have your main stuff here and then the space for 4 people there. Now the space for like 2 parents, 4 kids at the front of the book, so potentially you could have your 4 children across here, or you could have, if you're a smaller family, you know, 2 parents, 2 kids, kind of configure it how you want, but you've basically got space for several people's appointments or what have you through there. But what I like about this is it's super flexible, and in the planner itself, the main layout, there's nothing forcing this to be a family layout. You know, there are family pages up front, but there's nothing like pushing this to be a family planner. You know, it doesn't say kids or anything as a heading, so it's very flexible. So again, I think you could use this in loads of ways. So I mean, there are loads of ways you could use it as a family. Obviously you could have either divide it by people, but you could also have sort of like meal planning or classes or something else. But yeah, I think it's a really interesting flexible layout, and I guess part of the reason I'm excited about it is I've not seen many kind of family planner formats from UK companies. This kind of layout, I've seen it from some of the American planner companies, but yeah, it's a bit unusual, and it's very unusual at this price point. So yeah, again, just a flexible, interesting layout. You go through all your weeks like that. As I say, you've just got the one pocket at the end. You've then got this 2027 year planner spread, which is scary. I'm really not okay with us almost being in 2026. Contacts pages again. Yeah, and then quite a good supply of notes pages, including, and this is genius, this is one of the little design things that I think BusyB does really well, and it just really impressed me. You've got a few, let me actually count them, that would be helpful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of these spreads, which they just look like list pages, but they're perforated, so you can easily tear them off. And I'm guessing the idea is you could write either shopping lists, or maybe you could write like packing lists for a trip here, and if you didn't want to take the whole diary with you, you can just tear this out and take the list. So I'll do it for one of them just to show how it goes. So it comes out nicely and very neatly, and there you go, portable lists. It's not, I mean, it's not a heavy, bulky planner. It's still pretty portable, but this is, again, it's just such a smart idea. I guess I will use that one for my pen test. So a reminder, this is 80 GSM, approximately £55 paper. And yeah, like with the others, I would say, I mean, there is some ghosting, no bleed through. I would say this is closer to the Busy Life in terms of the ghosting for the normal pens. So for the Uniball, the Biro, the fine liner is very faint. You're really only going to notice the ghosting if you're doing quite heavy highlighting or if you're using brush pens. So it's, yeah, I'd say that's pretty solid paper, to be honest. That's pretty pretty decent. Get my pens out of the way before I get ink all over myself. So that was a very quick run through all three of those planners. And I just want to talk a little bit about how I'm planning to use them in case it gives any ideas, basically. So, weirdly, personal planner, the Slim planner, sorry. This is going to sound a bit strange to anyone who knows the layout I'm talking about. I'm thinking of using this as my replacement for my Erin Condren Compact Vertical. Now, I know they are totally different layouts, quite different sizes, and obviously very different paper. But the way I used the Compact Vertical was, it was what I called my cope list. Basically, I would list on each day the tasks I absolutely had to do. So not everything I was going to do for the day, certainly not all my plans for the week, just the things I absolutely had to do to kind of keep the wheels on. And I found it really valuable. It helped me focus, it helped me feel less overwhelmed. It's one of the planners I've stuck with for several years. So of course they stopped making it. They're not doing it for 2026. And I think this, astonishingly, could do the same job. I don't need a lot of room on my days for this. And I mean, if I carried over into the notes page, I would actually have a kind of similar amount of space, I think. So it would be a very focused, when life is stressful, boil it down to this kind of planner, which I need to have. It's one of the things I've used most heavily for years. And I think this could do the job. And, you know, I'm okay with the paper, I'm okay with, and I love that they're doing something different with their layouts. I love that it's not just all the same layout, especially like hunting for interesting layouts, especially for European and UK planners, can be a bit of a challenge. I love that they're doing something different. So that's how I'm planning to use this, just essential daily tasks, basically. But there are loads of ways you could use it. I mean, I think the obvious one would be appointments and then to-dos and tasks. You could potentially split each side by topics. So you could have like personal down one side, work down the other. I think there are a lot of ways you could use it, and it's super portable. If you need a planner to have with you on the go, it's basically the size of my hand. Because I know, like, telling you it's, what was it, 17 centimeters high isn't maybe saying that much. That's my Uniball pen. It's a very, very compact little diary. Then there's this one, which is, you know what, I'm going to skip to the family planner first because this is the one I'm really, really, really excited about. So this one, the family planner, was kind of the one I bought just to try out and experiment. I wouldn't usually do that with planners. It's not like I have a huge budget for buying planners, but at $14.99, I figured I could treat myself and have a bit of a play around. I think this would be fantastic as a work planner. So again, you could have, say, like your key task each day, your meetings, you could have other projects that you're keeping an eye on. It would be a good content planner. So, I mean, I only do these YouTube videos, so I don't need loads. But if you were a content creator, you could have, you know, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok as your columns, or for other projects you're working on, or, you know, obviously for your family. I think if I do end up using this, maybe actually for work, work's a bit in flux at the moment. I'm currently self-employed. Depending on what I end up doing, if I am juggling a few clients, or if I'm trying to do several streams of work for kind of business development, potentially I could track that here and then just have my main appointments and things here. So it's a lovely flexible layout that I'm going to play around with. I'll probably try out a few different things with it over a few weeks and see what I make of it. And then there's this one. Now, I think the reason this one spoke to my brain as much as it did was because I immediately went, oh, I would love to split personal and work. So that was the first thought. And depending on my work situation in 2026, I might end up using it for that. But I'm hoping to do some professional development, take some courses. And what I was actually thinking of doing with it was having learning down one side and like business development and content down the other. So I work in tech, and what I'm hoping to do is pick up some skills, and as I go along, blog about them, post about it on LinkedIn, design new consultancy products and stuff as I go. And I think this would be fantastic for that, because I could very directly map, you know, today I'm studying this and here's what I'm going to create about it, or here's how I'm going to use it in my business. So it would really link the two project areas, which I think is really cool. So it depends a bit. My work situation might change, in which case I might just use this as my main weekly planner for personal and work planning. But yeah, I think I'm going to use it for learning and business development, and I'm super excited about that. Again, there are loads of ways you could use this, right? So you could have your plans and say a partner's plans if you need to keep track of somebody, personal and work, personal and university, project splitting, or just use it as one slightly visually different spread and go across. You could even, to be honest, I could see myself doing this in a different year, or even with a second one of these. You could do, you know, your appointments and to-dos down here, and then use the right side for journaling. Do just a few lines a day of like micro journaling. I think that would also be a really cool way of doing it, because you would then have your journaling associated with what was going on in your day. Again, it links things up, and that's super cool. So this was BusyB planners and diaries. It's been a bit of a whistle-stop run through the features. As you can probably tell, I am very excited about them. I'll be using at least two of them, I think, quite heavily in 2026, and experimenting a bit with the other one. I hope the video was useful or interesting. If you've tried BusyB, or if you're intrigued by these layouts, or if you've got any interesting planner companies to recommend. So I'm kind of on the hunt for quirky layouts, especially if they are UK or EU produced. Mostly because that keeps the shipping costs down, frankly. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have a great evening or great day whenever you're watching this.